CNN is now learning that President Trump told senators that the House bill was, quote, mean, and to put more money in the bill to show more heart. Why is the president coming out against the Republican bill now? Because after they and before they passed it, he was touting it.
Yeah, you know, I kind of laugh as I hear you say that. It's the first time I've heard that, but it's one of those times where I look at our president and say, Mr. President, we're on the same side, you know, help us out here, throw us a bone, you know. But, you know, you got to give Mr. Trump credit. It's one of the things that endeared him to the American people was he spoke extemporaneously a lot, and he, off the top of the head, I think that's probably one of those times. But look, we're clearly not trying to be mean.
So obviously you don't think the bill is mean. I think that's where
I think that's what I'm trying to say. We're clearly not trying to be mean to people. Quite the opposite. We're trying to help people. We're trying to make this affordable for people. We're trying to draw more and more people in and provide them coverage. And I know that the media and some of the coverage of this has been, you know, maybe that's not the story they're telling, but I mean, that's sincerely our intention is to try to help Americans with this. And if Mr. Trump
But all due respect, though, Congressman, I have to tell you, it's not the media. We're just reporting this is what members of Congress are saying. This is what constituents back home are saying. It's not the media. We're just the vessel or the platform that gets what people are saying out there.
So I'm not pointing a finger at you or any.
No, I understand that. I understand that. But why would the president call it mean? Why would the CBO score it the way it is? And I mean, but you're saying it's not mean. Are you listening? Do you have concerns with the CBO score? Do you have concerns with what people are saying at town halls back home? Do you have concern with some of the Democratic members?
Well, sure we do.
I mean,
yeah, for sure we do. I mean, look, this is not an easy task we're trying to do. And it's controversial, and there will be some people who will be disappointed. There's no question about that. And again, I'm not throwing the media under the bus, but you got to realize as well that the media coverage on this is, in some cases, not been as fair or accurate as maybe it could have been. But that's not the thing. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about, can we help people? Can we make this better? Can the Senate make it better? If the president thinks it's mean or insufficient funding, well, let's look at that. How can we help, and how can we make this a bill that a lot of Americans are going to support?
Yeah. Congressman Chris Stewart, I appreciate your time. We'll see you back soon. Thank you very much. Back again now with my panel, Gloria Borger, David Shelley, and Julia Ioffe, and John Dean. Okay, so David, you just heard from Congressman Stewart. What's your reaction?
Well, on that healthcare conversation, Don, that was fascinating to hear a Republican House member
whose side are you on, right?
Beg the president, throw us a bone here, man, help us out. I think it was clear recognition that the President of the United States, after celebrating in the Rose Garden with all of those House members, just, you know, took a bus and rolled right over them.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Gloria, do you think, I would think, as his strategy was, meaning the president, he's a negotiator, right? He needed a win. He wasn't having a good time with the travel ban, with any legislation, with this health care. He needed a win in Congress, regardless of what the bill was like, knowing that it had to go to the Senate, and the Senate would change it and fix it.
Right, and now he wants another win. But don't forget, do you remember that Rose Garden celebration after the health care win last time around? And the president was praising the bill and praising Republicans who voted for it. And now he's turning around saying we need a more generous bill. We need a bill that costs more money. We you know, because the president understands that this bill may hurt some of his constituents, some of his base of support. He understands that the House bill is not popular in this country. And so he's putting on his political hat to looking toward the Senate, but he's sawing off the limb out from under all the Republicans in the House who voted for it.
You just heard the congressman. I mean, David pointed out. I was surprised when he said, you know, whose side are you on? Give us a break. I think it was a bit tongue-in-cheek the way he said it.
Just quickly, Don, imagine the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee ad. As the Democrats are trying to take back the House in November 2018, they're already going to plan to hammer the Republican House members on their vote, and now they're going to use Donald Trump in their ad saying even the President Trump said it was mean.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Julia, let me ask you, what do Stewart's views tell you about where the congressional Republicans are right now as it relates to President Trump? Are they in sync? I mean, clearly he and the Congress on this issue may not be in sync, but what about Republicans?
Well, it sounds like they're, you know, it sounds like he's telling them to jump, and they jump, and he says jump faster, jump higher. They jump faster, jump higher. then he says, no, faster, higher, faster, higher. They do as much as they can. They get the bill through. He celebrates them in the Rose Garden, big group photo, and then says, nah, I shouldn't have jumped at all. Your jump was mean.
The jump was mean. Do you think this will have any effect, responses like the one we just heard from the congressman, Gloria, do you think this will have any effect on senators who are working through this bill as well? Are they not going to try to make it as mean?
Well,
they don't want to hear from the president as well?
Well, you know, the president, first of all, asked for it to be more generous. And if you're going to pass it with just a majority, you have to, because of the rules, you have to save the same amount of money. So that's going to be difficult. I think the senators are working through their own bill. A lot of them were probably relieved to hear from the president today because he didn't want to tie them to the House bill, which they had no intention of being tied to anyway. So I think Mitch McConnell, leading the Senate Republicans, is probably working quietly to get his own bill passed. And I think his goal is probably, and if I had to guess, his goal is probably to pass a bill out of the Senate so he can say, I passed a bill, but who knows what would happen between those two bills eventually if they had to reconcile.
Okay, John Dean, now back to, let's get